Hey, welcome back to another TKM Adventures Outdoors video. In the last video I showed you how to make venison jerky using a propane smoker. In this video I'm going to show you how I grind up venison and squeeze it through a jerky tube and put it in a dehydrator and make up another delectable batch of my venison jerky. As you can see, this is the chunk of meat that I start with, and what I do is just very carefully go straight down it, because I'm going to cut these into little cubes very quick. This is what's going to go in the grinder, so it's a little easier to go in the grinder cubed up like this. Most all the silver skin and fat is off of it, so we're dealing with just pretty much solid chunks of meat. This is all going to get marinated in chunks. Alright, there is 3 pounds of venison cut in cubes. Okay, here's the basic tools of my process. 2 mixing bowls, a cookie sheet pan, and my reliable manually operated Everil grinder. I can't tell you the number of pounds of venison and sausage I've made coming through this grinder. So let's get on with the mixing. For the most part, I drain all of the liquid out, although some still remains in the jar. And this is a two-handed operation, so in with your left hand to get some venison, over into the grinder, pack it down in there really good, and it's just now a matter of feeding it through till it all gets ground up. And you're going to see it coming out of the chute here in just a few minutes. Takes a little while to get it all in there, but this grinder does a super good job. Plus it keeps my right arm exercised. As you can see, it comes out in just little curly-Q ribbons, just like you'd see if it was professionally done at a meat market shop. And once again, this is all going to be ground back up when I start mixing it in with the hamburger, and you'll see that process in a few minutes. As you can see, we're well on the way of getting this 3-pound batch of venison almost all ground up. Now a lot of people, and I like to do it often too, is just use cut venison strips. It's quicker, although this way, if you're looking for venison that looks like traditional jerky that you see in the stores, okay, beef and so forth, this is how they do it, only on a much larger scale. We are almost done getting all the grinding up of the first chunks of venison. This venison came from a deer that was harvested this past weekend in the great state of Alabama, and it was processed, as I mentioned in the last video. It was put on, wrapped in bags, put on ice. The ice melts in a drain cooler, and it hit. And Monday when I put this together, that was the first time it came out of that bag, and then it went into the marinating jars. And here it is 2 evenings later, and we are grinding it up, and we'll be cooking this up later on today in the dehydrator. Now what I do is take lean ground beef and just kind of layer it in like this as I go along. A lot of people use beef fat, pork fat. I don't know what they pay for it. I personally don't use just the fat, because the fat's fat. This is lean ground beef, and I figure that if you're going to go to all the trouble to harvest an animal and try to enjoy it, you might as well use a good, decent quality of hamburger to go along with it. Now this is 3 pounds of venison that you're looking at, and I'm going to be putting in 3 pounds of hamburger. I'm going to go through one time this way, get it kind of all spread out. Then I'm going to start just hand mixing it, just like this. And after you do this for a while, you're going to see the consistency of the hamburger into the venison. And as you continue to do this, you just go until all of it is all mixed up. Once it's all mixed up, then it's all going to get processed back through the grinder And then it's going to be ready to go into the tube maker to squeeze it through into sausage strips. So we're going to move along and just kind of jump ahead to that process, and I'll take care of getting the other 2 pounds of beef all mixed in. So let's move on to the next step. You can already see here it's already starting to mix in real nice. Alright, there's the completed mix of the ground beef and the venison. As I mentioned earlier, the venison's been through the grinder one time. Now I'm going to process all of what you see back through the grinder again, and then it'll be ready to go into the the venison jerky maker. Here's the jerky gun I use. It's called the Judge. I'm going to be using a Nesco dehydrator. It's got 6 racks. I'm not sure if I've made more than enough jerky to fill all these racks. And if I have, I'm going to save the rest of it, make it into hamburgers, and enjoy it that way. Alright, now it's just a simple matter of taking the Nesco dehydrator rack and start squeezing the jerky out of the gun in nice strips, and I try to put these as close as I can to this to pack it in. And as you can see, it's just a matter of squeezing it out, rotating it around to try and lay this out as best as you can. Okay, just as a point of reference, I got 1 rack squeezed out and this many pieces on the second rack. So when I look over at how much I've prepared, I think I'm going to fill up those 6 and have a lot of good hamburger left over to eat at a later time. Alright, there you have it. Finally, there are 6 racks of soon-to-be venison jerky. My next step now is to put it out in the garage, put the top on it, plug it in, and check it on the hour. And in about 3 hours or so, it's going to be ready to eat. Alright, here it is, finished. 6 nice dehydrated racks of venison jerky. Next step is to put it in the container. And there it is, taken off each rack, put in the container, and into the refrigerator it goes. This, like the jerky I made on the last video, needs to be kept refrigerated. It usually stays good for at least a couple of weeks. Cleanup is fairly easy. I put all the dehydrating racks in the kitchen sink, filled with soap, and I let them soak overnight. Makes for cleanup real easy the next day. Hey, thanks for watching. Please comment on the video and let me know if you try my recipe and how it turned out at tk.miller90@yahoo.com. I'll also send you, or attach to your email, a copy of the recipe that I've used in this video. Be on the lookout for more upcoming TKM Adventures Outdoors videos.